And hi everyone. I hope you are doing good. I'm really glad to be here today with you. My name is Victor. I'm a mechanical engineer and I have been implementing SolidWorks and a 3D solution for Dassault Systèmes for 6 years now. And the idea of today is to make a masterclass about AI and SolidWorks and basically how Mistral AI that is going to be included in the new SolidWorks generation. To talk about that, I'm going to be supported by Jacob.
So hello everyone, Jacob Bussière. I'm industry process consultant here at Dassault Systèmes and a Solidworks expert. So I'll be happily showing you some of these new features we have with AI and showing you what's to come in the next year. So I hope you're ready for that.
Perfect. Thanks, Jacob. Basically, the idea of this new format is we use the new tool at the moment. We hope it's good. You can ask the question on the right. You can chat with everyone. You can do the interaction and to see if everything is working well on your side. Maybe you can just put us in the chat from which country you are from, just to see, because I think we are across Europe at the moment. I'm just going to wait a little bit. We already have the first question. Ireland, Belgium, France, Netherlands. Nice. Waiting for Munich. We have Netherlands. Perfect. So just for you to know, there is two sections. There is the question and answer and the chat. So the chat is more for the like the answer you want to put, and the question and answer is more for question. But don't worry, it's fine. It's fine for now. So also, if you need, because I see there is French people or English people, and I know that my French accent is not the best. So if you want to add the subtitles in live, you can also add them just below by clicking here. What I would like to propose to you, we also have Netherlands again, and from Belgium. Yeah, Stan, the session is going to be recorded, and we are going to send you the link just after. Just for you to know, we are just going to do the presentation with Jacob. If you want to ask any question or you have any concern about this generation, just feel free to ask your question and we'll try to answer it at the end or during the presentation if it fits right and does not break the flow, So I'm just going to share my screen right now and I'm just going to show you the slides, and I think that everything is set up. And basically, I'm just going to talk a little bit about SolidWorks 2026. And the great news today is that we are at a great moment at the moment where we are going to have the Mistral AI included in SolidWorks 2026. The idea is that thanks to Jacob, we are going to be able to deep dive directly into SolidWorks 2026 to see all the new features we have at the moment. We are going to see a lot of things, and I think the most important that a lot of you are waiting for is automatic drawings. We are also going to see some fixing drawings and some assemblies to be more efficient. We are going to see a lot of things, but before going into that, I'm just going to take a few steps back and to talk a little bit about SolidWorks. So just for everyone to know, SolidWorks has been founded in 1996, and before that, there were, of course, digital design, but the first tool that were implemented in the market was CATIA and PTC Creo, Pro Engineer at the moment. And the idea is that in order to make some computer-aided design, the only way you have was to buy a really expensive computer. Most of the time, it was coming from IBM, Big Blue, and it was not accessible for everyone. John Hirschtick in 1996 wanted to make CAD accessible for everyone, and it's in this mood that he tried and developed SolidWorks that is like quite famous today. The idea in the past was really to make SolidWorks and CAD accessible for everyone, and for everyone to be able with their small laptop or small computer, I would say, to be able to make CAD design. If you are here, most of you are some Ohmycad customer or SolidWorks customer, and I think you already know the new generation, but SolidWorks has evolved a lot in the last few years. We saw the new program that SolidWorks has launched, academics for students, entrepreneurs for startup, for children. We have the SolidWorks app for kids and the SolidWorks for maker for do-it-yourself and makers people. So basically, the idea is always to get the same roots, always make CAD accessible for everyone. This year we are at the momentum, I would say. We are currently having a lot of new features. We have a design assistant, we have AI Aura, we have AI drawings. A lot of features are going to be coming in soon, are already available, but are going to come in the next few years. And the idea, of course, during this webinar is to go over all of those features and for you to be able to see how you can gain time, how you can be more efficient and more productive with SolidWorks. So I'm really glad. Sorry. And so at this moment, we are just going to make a little interaction because I just want you to put you in the mindset of why SolidWorks has released the new generation of SolidWorks and why SolidWorks has implemented AI. And we tried to summarize what are the most pain we are seeing with customer. And you have a little pulse, I would say, directly on the right that you can answer just to see what is the main issue you are encountering with SolidWorks at the moment or with CAD more globally. Okay, so at the moment we are seeing that the main pain is collaborating with people. We are also seeing tedious drawing creation. Yeah, we know that drawing creation can take a lot of time and can be really painful and sometimes wasting time. Okay, so mainly collaboration, mainly drawings, a little bit of loss of time searching the right processes. Okay, I think we have the winner at the moment. It's drawing creation and just behind it, difficulty of collaboration. And in fact, it's just going to match what we saw. The first thing that we saw was that a lot of customers were wasting time on repetitive tasks, and we don't want you designers to waste time on operations that are manual and that are not fruitful for you. So drafting, adjustment, visual renderings, all of those things are like really a waste of time for you. We are also seeing a huge lack of consistency between the tools. Sorry. So when you are doing CAD development, of course, you are just going to begin with CAD, but then you are going to go to simulation, maybe to rendering. Then you are going to have some teams. You are going to hire, and you are going to need to make some data management, some PDM, product lifecycle management. A lot of things are going to evolve around your CAD development, and it can be hard to navigate between all of those tools. For example, you can have the CAD SolidWorks, you can have the simulation on another tool, you need to do export, and nothing is like talking to each other. The idea here is to have this 3D experience that is going to be sort of a big tool that is going to gather everything and to be able to allow each tool to communicate with each other. And the last part I would say is inefficient project management. The idea is that when you are doing CAD development, most of the time you are sorting and you are saving your data as it was PDF or as it was email, for example, and it raises a lot of issue. It makes you waste a lot of time with multiple validation, manual tracking, poorly automated processes, and we really think that those 3 points are the most pain we are seeing when we are talking to the customer. And when we talk with SolidWorks about that, they told us, okay, we have the new SolidWorks. And this is why I'm really glad to introduce you to the new SolidWorks Design 2026. It's the new SolidWorks. It keeps the same layout, the same configuration. It's the same tool that is still on your computer. But the great thing is that it's now more modern, faster, smoother, but mostly we have now Mistral AI that is included into SolidWorks. Before giving the hand to Jacob to really deep dive into SolidWorks and to show you those new features, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the key features that we are seeing on our side. The first of all, I think it's one of the most important one is the multi-user installation, multi-station installation. So it means that with a mail and a password, you are going to be able to have SolidWorks on your laptop, on your station at home. You are going to be able to work on the train, on the plane, and you are going to be able to save on the cloud or locally. And the idea is to let you the choice. And if you want to stay full offline working on your computer with your own data management, you can. If you want to use the Dassault Systèmes Cloud that is fully secured with PDM functionalities included, you also can. The third point is that we have now integrated PDM data management into this SolidWorks. So basically the idea is that PDM has always been something complicated or something expensive for SolidWorks customer to implement because it needed a few days of implementation. It was really customized. The idea now is that you are going to have the PDM with each SolidWorks licenses, and they are going to be like more customizable and more easy to implement. And I would say that the final step is going to be the AI, because now we have this great French startup called Mistral AI that is going to be included into SolidWorks. And when Dassault Systèmes has tried to develop this AI, they wanted to develop it through 3 main stages. I would say that the first one is automation. The idea of this AI is to help you have intelligent automation that helps users work faster. You are going to have assist, so an AI that is capable of anticipating your need and suggesting you the next step in your development. And of course, the final step is co-creation. So the AI is automatically going to create the 2D drawings, constraints, layouts. Basically, just going to have someone on your side, like a designer, that is going to help you design and co-develop the product. And so before going to Jacob, so we can see the real features about SolidWorks, we are just going to make a new polls just to see what feature you are expecting and what do you think is going to be a game changer in your day-to-day life. Okay, so as expected, we are going to see the automate your drawing creation at the top. Just behind, we have repair missing elements. So great things. Those are two features that are already available into SolidWorks. But I don't want to spoil what Jacob is going to talk about. Okay, it's just now. And so, yeah, so coffee and croissants. Yeah, I like it. It's better, just letting SolidWorks do the job and eating your coffee and croissants and just come back with the 3D already done. It would be great, no? Okay, perfect. Automate your drawing creation, repair missing element. Okay, I see that. So just to answer I'm just going to answer a few questions before going to Jacob, but just is the PDM included like on shape? Yes. It's now included natively with SolidWorks. Like on shape, but better than on shape because you have way more functionalities and you can go way further than only CAD conception. And regarding the question from Joseph, does the integrated PDM allows other part of business drawings and model aside design engineer? Yes. The idea of the 3D experience is to be able to gather all of your documents, not only 3D design and drawings. You can just use SolidWorks as product data management, but also as product lifecycle management. So the idea is not to gather only your 3D file, is to manage all the process and all the things that are involved around the 3D development. Thanks for the question. We are just going to answer everything at the end, but I thought that it was really interesting to answer those now. I'm just going to highlight one last thing, and then Jacob is going to deep dive on this, is that the most thing and the most concern that we are seeing regarding AI is about intellectual property. We want to highlight this point is that Mistral AI and SolidWorks and Dassault Systèmes are not going to use their data to feed the AI. So it means that everything that you are going to do into SolidWorks, into the 3D experience, everything you are going to ask to the AI, it's not going to be used after to improve it. So everything that you are going to be done is going to be your intellectual property, and not be used after. And to not use the scene a little bit more, I'm just going to make a pass to Jacob to tell us more a little bit about SolidWorks and Mistral AI.
Yes, thank you, Victor. So one thing to start off, we're going to be focusing on 3 key pillars when we are talking about the AI evolutions. And this is going to be talking about also the history of SolidWorks in a sense, because while we might not have had AI in SolidWorks in the past, or we had, if you paid attention in 2024, we had one I'll be talking about. However, we can think about the first pillar of artificial intelligence or intelligence in a sense in SolidWorks as being automation or automate, being able to work faster with functions and features that will help you skip some steps that you would otherwise have to do manually. Then we're looking at the second pillar, which is assistance, or as being able to be assisted by AI. So now we're looking at more transformer-based prediction models that have been built into certain functions to really help you, again, gain more time. This is what we're trying to do here. And then on the third pillar, the last pillar is co-creations, co-create. So this is based on more advanced AI models where we're able to have AI help us in our creative workflow, I could say, in designing and such. And you'll see that as I present the following features. But let's start off with a presentation on Aura AI. So Aura AI will be your new design companion. It'll be built in. It's already available. It's built into your SolidWorks interface here. by using the 3D experience panel. We can access Aura, where we can ask it questions, and it's connected through your SolidWorks environment as well. So it can help you go about different operations that you might want to do, ask it questions. And how does it work in terms of its data and what's its sources? Well, it's pretty simple. It's a Mistral AI behind it, which is a French AI company. So it's already connected to the web. And on top of that, it's going to be connected and have access to the information that you have as a user on the tenant that you're working on your platform tenant, which is where you store all your information. If you're not aware or not haven't been on the 3D Experience platform, we store information on your tenant, and you will have different access rights to different spaces of that tenant. And depending on the access that you have, it will be able to console that information and provide it to you accordingly, citing its sources. Here we have a more advanced example where we're asking it to consult certain regulations and protocols that have been put on our platform for us to check. I think we're missing the slide, Victor. We see your teams. There we go. All right. So we'll go on to the next one. So let's see now about AI in SolidWorks today. Here we're going to be on that first pillar of automation, of automating. So the first one is about being able to repair dangling sketch relations. So again, I'm not saying that this is artificial intelligence. However, it is that first pillar, like I said, about automation. It's based on your in-session intelligence. So it's going to be able, for example, to repair a dangling dimension that was left over after we deleted a child sketch, which uses its the other sketch used as a reference. When you delete that, sometimes it can create those dangling relations. And with that repair all dangling button, we're able to quickly try to repair them. And if it's not able to, then we can go in manually. But however, when we, for example, deleted one that had a lot of references to it, it could create problems of us having to go through and do all of that manually. So this is a big time saver regarding sketches and that workflow. So now let's go to the next one. This is one that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, the selection manager, which is available for chamfers and fillets. Basically, when you select an edge, you're able to quickly and easily have this dialog box that pops up, prompting you whether you'd like to select amongst different options that have different rules established. For example, faces that are at a certain angle between each other, or edges that are in a tangential relationship along that edge. And other selection options that will help you to quickly select the corresponding edges that you wish to select. This is a big time saver. I use this all the time, especially when I'm working with parts where I have hundreds of edges and I need to add my fillets at the end or my chamfers at the end, which is a good practice to follow, to add the fillets or chamfers at the end. Well, I don't want to have to select all of those manually. I like to have these selection tools that help me pre-select the ones I'm looking for, and then if one or two are missing, then I'm able to quickly go in and select them or deselect them depending on what I'm trying to do. So that's one of my best or my favorite features. Next is the silhouette defeature mode. So for example, if you needed to simplify a complex piece, this is usually in the case of when we're doing a simulation and we have a complex part or a complex assembly, for example. What we're going to want to do is do a defeature of that. Why do we want to defeature it? It's because we don't need all of that geometry. We don't need those threads to be able to run that simulation. We don't need that keyway. We're able to apply the same constraints or the same effect that those keyways, etc., that thread will have through simulation constraints about forces, pressure, torque, etc. So through that, all we need really is a more basic form of that geometry. So what this feature allows us to do is to simplify it along different methods. So we have a polygon outline method, for example. Another one I think is a cylindrical method. We can see it here in the simplification method, that little drop down. So we're able to do that through different means and methods and different algorithms, we could call it. So that one's pretty powerful. The next one I want to show is being able to repair missing constraints. So for example, sometimes you will open up an assembly and depending on what happened to it or if some file went missing, etc., then you might have a constraint that it has an error on it. What you're able to do is try to repair it automatically, which is always my advice to clients, is to try to use these features that we have in SolidWorks to automate that workflow. because once you start looking in and trying to repair it manually, can create more problems if you don't know exactly what you're doing. So being able to have that auto repair button and at least trying to let it run through that, more often than not, it will help you solve those problems. And then anything that remains after that, you can go in and manually repair it, which is again the best practice to follow in this scenario. Now we're going to go into the assistance or assist pillar. So the first one is about the command predictor. So this has been available since I think it was 2024 FD02. And if you aren't aware of it and you have a version of Solidworks that's 2024 Service Pack 2 or above, I believe, you can activate this. If you're not aware, if you click right on your command manager, which is where all those features are up top, you can click on tabs or hover over tabs and then activate the command predictor. It's still in beta. However, it's pretty useful. I use it pretty often. I found that about 95% of the time it works. And what does it do exactly? I haven't described that yet. But depending on where you are in your session right now, like what point of the design process you're at, for example, if I'm in a sketch, etc., it will propose different features and different commands to you in that tab. So that's pretty useful to increase your workflow and to really accelerate the way that you're going to select all these different features. Even based on the selection that you actually have, like there in this video, they added a slot and they clicked on a face of that slot and it automatically proposed them a linear pattern, which is very useful to have that ergonomic side. And you can combine that with the search feature, clicking S on your keyboard to really increase your workflow. Again, there's different ways of working in SolidWorks. This is a new one that AI, so I think it's pretty prevalent.
This one is pretty neat. Is it something that you are using on a day-to-day basis, basically?
Yeah, I do use it a lot. That's a great question. Whenever I'm working, especially on like more, I don't want to say simple, but less, we're on the parts where I'm not going to be using like surfacing methods or any like sheet metal or anything like that's a bit more advanced. I'll be using this. I mean, just for like basic part design, it works wonders. I mean, I prefer having this always open. And anyway, I work with the S key just to search my functions. I think that's the quickest way to work. It really reduces the amount of mouse drag operations I have to do. So combining this with it is a great thing to have. So definitely.
Nice.
So let's go next to the next assistance method. So this one is a new one, automatic fastener replacement. This is released in 2025. So basically what this does is it will allow you to import pieces or insert pieces of that resemble fasteners or like toolbox kind of pieces, I could say, that don't already have mate relations set up. So if you look in the parts that in that feature manager of the part, you can see that it was just like an extrusion, the first piece. This new feature uses that transformer-based prediction, and it's been trained on a bunch of different little tool pieces, little screws, bolts, etc. It's been trained on these kinds of models to recognize them, and then automatically, without you having to go into each of these files and creating those reference constraints, those mate references, sorry, you're able to quickly just drag and drop it into an assembly, and it will recognize that it's one of these pieces that it's been trained on, or it's similar to one of these, and it will allow you to just glide it right over a hole, and it will mate it accordingly, and it will be fixed in position just like that. It's super easy. Here we have another example where they're dragging and dropping a step file directly into the command manager so that it opens on the side, and then they're just dragging that imported file directly into the assembly, and the same thing happens with that bolt. So this is very powerful. Of course, I mentioned it's about fasteners. It's been trained on these like toolbox-esque pieces or parts. So don't expect this to be able to automatically mate more complex geometries. It's not what it was made for. But as the features improve, I'm sure that the parts that it will accept and it will recognize and be able to automate, auto/mate, not automate, but yeah, automate, will increase as well. So this is a pretty powerful feature too.
So basically, Jacob, here, if we are taking any part from like trace part, for example, we are going to be able to have the same features as in the toolbox from the professional version?
Pretty much. This is what this feature tries to do. I mean, it doesn't have a 100% efficiency rate, I would say, or not effectivity rate, in the sense that sometimes it will just not be able to recognize it, but it usually happens only on more very complex parts or complex tools. Like, for example, like ball bearings, sometimes it doesn't exactly recognize it very well. However, for these pieces that we're seeing here, it works perfectly, and this saves you a lot of time of having to set up those reference constraints, not only in your part but also in the part you're trying to connect it to, or the assemblies having to create those reference constraints so that it will automatically go to that hole. This one just saves you a lot of time of having to do that. And even if it doesn't work, like for a certain case where you're trying to bring it in, then you can go in and still do that manual process. However, again, this is just another time saver of not having to go in and do that for each of these parts, and just being able to drag and drop those pieces directly into your assembly. And we see that at the time it's automatic. I mean, pretty much it doesn't charge and try to establish the connections. No, it just sees if the piece is recognizable and just boom, there it is, it's mated. So yeah, this is a pretty nice feature for that. So now we're going to go in the pillar of co-creation. So this is about co-creating. Here we have this new feature, auto-generate drawings. It was released in, if I'm not mistaken, 2025. I think it was FD01, and it was improved again in FD03. Basically, how does this work is, let's say you have an assembly open with like 10 parts or more, 100 parts if you want, or 1,000 if you want to go crazy with that. But essentially what you're able to do is you're able to multi-select parts, assemblies, sub-assemblies, etc. Basically every geometry or every model or product, however you want to call it, that you want to create a drawing of. This is what's happening here. They're multi-selecting it, and then they're going to right-click and click on auto-generate drawing. And on the right side panel, you'll see that in the background, it's going to generate those drawings automatically. Now, what is this based on? This has been, again, trained to do this. I would say this is a static AI in the sense that it's been trained to see different parts on a bunch of different data that it was tested on and developed on, to be able to try to best analyze what is the best to generate in this case for this certain part. What you'll need to activate this or to make this work, you'll need to, in your file or in your system options, you'll need to go to your file locations, your default templates, and it's the default template that you have selected for your drawings. That's the one that we'll use to generate all of them. So it's important that you have the right one, that you want the appropriate default template for your drawings well mapped to your system options, because it uses that to generate these drawings. So for example, if you have a big assembly and a small part, you might want to use different drawing templates for that. So you'd have to go in and change those. But otherwise, this works wonders for really saving you time of having to create each of these drawings manually and having to go in and create all of those views, all of these little dimensions and stuff. Of course, it's not going to generate everything right away. I mean, that would be great. But this is meant to be a time saver operation, something that will really save you time, that you're able to go in right after, make the few tweaks you need to finish that drawing and just have it ready as you wish. So just keep that in mind. It's not the do-all, be-all, can answer every demand you have kind of operation. There are a few limitations currently that are being worked on, and hopefully in the next year we'll see some more developments on that. For example, being able to have a flat pattern for sheet metal, so things such as that. But right now, for me, in my own tests of having used it, it works really great just to save that much time. Being able to create, it even creates section views for you. I mean, this is wonderful. And then you can just modify them very quickly. It really saves you a lot of time for having to generate all these drawings. And also the best part is that it works in the background. So you can still model your parts, etc., while it's generating those drawings. It'll use the saved version of the file once you basically you have to have the file saved, and then once you launch that operation to do the drawings, it will generate them based on that saved file. Then after, you can keep working on them, and then once generated, it's just updating the drawing, and then there you go, you'll have the updated geometry. So that's another great advantage to really save you a lot of time. Go next. This is on XDesign. So this is on the cloud offers. This is about an image to 2D mechanism. So in the previous release, where we added the ability to insert an image into a sketch. Yes, it's always been around, but being able to convert an image to a sketch, this is something we have, and now it's a 2D mechanism as well. We're able to do this as well, wherever we get this final result based on this image. This is more related to, I think, the academic people who will more have a best use of this, like on the education side. But I could see some industry applications for this, and if you see some that could be relevant to you, then by all all means, this would be a good feature to use. But yeah, so this is just a neat little feature I wanted to also mention. To showcase it's not only just on the Solidworks side, but also Xdesign is getting AI features as well. And next we have regarding simulation. This feature is very nice, and I'll explain it as best as I can, because maybe some people don't have that simulation hat or knowledge per se. So let's think about a car manufacturer, for example, that has a piece or a bumper, for example, and this part's going to go through thousands of design iterations with varying parameters that are changing in all different kind of ways. So many variables, we see them on the right, all those variables, all those different lengths, all those different thicknesses, the materials used, etc. Right? Well, wouldn't it be nice to have a way to predict those results based on those changing parameters if you've generated already all of these studies, these hundreds of studies? Well, this is exactly what this does. This uses AI to dynamically generate studies based on changing parameters, based on the information that you gave it, the simulation studies that you've run in the past on this model that changes slightly. You're able to feed that into this algorithm. And this is what you see here on the left. You're able to click on predict, and changing those parameters around, it will create you that dynamic result of your simulation based on the constraints you set, because you've fed this information into it. So this is a very, very powerful feature. And again, you'll have to have, this is more on a specific case where you have hundreds of studies already run for a part to be able to best use this in a very accurate manner. But once you have that, you're able to really be able to optimize those parameters to the way and very quickly generate those predictions faster than you could just running those studies, which will allow you to have more iterations of those simulation studies to best find that perfect design. And once you have identified it through the prediction, nothing stops you from going and generating that study based on the parameters that you have identified through AI as being the best one. So this is something that I find pretty mind-blowing. I'm not a simulation guy per se, but this was something I was very excited to find out about. But yeah, so I encourage you to test that out as well if you have those simulation applications. So now let's move on to what will be coming in SolidWorks and AI tomorrow. So this is to present you what we're working on and what we're working on at Dassault Systèmes. This is not a limited list. There's much more features as well behind the scenes, but here are some I wanted to present to you. I think we had a poll question first. I don't want to skip that. Real quick, I think we'll launch that interaction right before we go into those. So what would you like to see in the next version of SolidWorks? That's the poll question. It is live. If you go into interactions, you should be able to answer that. So we have photorealistic renderings, more comprehensive CAM tools for machining and 3D printing, a switch to a prompt-based modeling, enhanced compatibility with CAD software, with other CAD softwares or file formats. So I see the enhanced compatibility with other CAD file types. I think that was meant to say not software, but yeah, that seems to be the most popular one. And also photorealistic, very good. Okay, I'll go ahead and there you go. And jump into what's coming next up. All right, so in the 2026, here's what we can look forward to. So the first one will be the possibility to generate a virtual twin in seconds. Now, virtual twin, we say this often at Dassault. Let me try to break it down as simply as possible for this feature. Basically, in the past, when you wanted to take something that existed in 3D and bring it into or in real life and bring it into the 3D computer world, you'd have to either A, design the part, or B, scan it through a laser, which can be very expensive. They're not free, those tools, and then be able to import it and have that format be acceptable. Sometimes you have what do they call cloud points or point clouds, those types of formats. What is happening here is that we're asking AI to do this for us. We're taking a picture of something. Here we have a saw. That we take a picture of the handle and we ask AI, can you generate me a model for this and incorporate it into my assembly here, and I'm going to run a simulation test on it. This is what's happening here. So we're trying to see how far we can take this, and this is something I'm really excited about. To be able to just easily take pictures, it really would simplify my life a lot than having to redo or redesign something from scratch. The second one is the mesh image to SolidWorks part. So this is kind of similar to the recognize features function, but the recognize features function works for geometry that we could already import into SolidWorks. STL files and such were treated a little bit differently. So here what we're going to be able to do is take an object, a geometry that is purely, I think the right term is vectoral based or the graphic triangle based. These are often used more for art. I know a lot of artists use these type of formats to work with tools like Blender, etc. But here what we're able to do is take those STL files and import them into SolidWorks, and using this convert to geometry function, we're able to convert those STL files into actual SolidWorks parts with the functions used to create that geometry. So this is very similar to that recognize features part. I'm super excited to get my hands on this function and try to put it through the ringer to really test how good it is at recreating these parts. But as well, you can see on the left, there's also the image to convert. I think that's related to the sketch. But yeah, lots of features regarding this in the pipeline that I can see internally. So I'm very excited to test all these features out. The next one will be about stack generated dimensions. So here, for example, we're in 3D sketch. So we have a picture of a machine, for example. What we're able to do is we have it's kind of like that model items feature in SolidWorks, being able to automatically get all of the relations drawn, or the dimensions put on your drawing. And you know how in SolidWorks, when you have your sketch and you've done it in the best practice kind of way, you've really made it your sketch, you're defining it the way that will allow it for it to be modifiable through the sketch, your entire geometry, in the sense that, let's say you want to tweak a parameter, it's not going to explode your sketch because the dimensions were drawn in however manner. This is where it becomes handy, this feature, to be able to automatically generate those and not have to do it manually. Because whenever you wanted to do this properly in the past, you've always had to do it manually. Even with the model items, they would just make sure that it would, you could use some parameters to refine how you would model certain dimensions and such. However, this is really going to be using these trained models to really predict how it should be dimensioned. So this is something I'm super excited for as well, to really make that sketching process go faster. And I don't know if we saw it in the beginning, but he was using a pen to model on that sketch. So being able to recognize that geometry and make it into something actionable behind was wonderful.
And Jacob, I also know that you already have some access to the beta. Is it something that you have already been able to try, or is something you are expecting to?
I'm expecting to. I'm waiting for a good release internally for me to put my hands on these things. But yeah, these are already these were published by our internal R&D sources for the public. So these are features that I believe are nearing their release points and should be coming this year for sure. So very excited to get my hands on this as well.
And I maybe just going to add one thing, because I see a lot of questions about that. But just for you to know, Jacob is showing the 3D experience with web design application, but those web design application are coming natively with your SolidWorks. And the product you are developing with XDesign on the web can be easily used in SolidWorks model. So all the things you have seen directly from SolidWorks are used from SolidWorks, and some functionalities, as they are really powerful, they are located in the cloud to not use your local computer, but you can then use the model into SolidWorks.
Very good. Thank you, Victor, for that. The next feature we'll talk about is a self-healing material. So this one is a pretty neat feature that'll be coming. I don't have the most info about this one yet. However, from what I've been explained, let's think about it this way. When you, for example, wanted to 3D scan a certain object and bring it into the platform or into whatever software you're using, sometimes there were problems with it, in the sense that there would be like a gap or some unscanned area that was causing some problems. This feature is about being able to heal that through design intent. So being able to identify your design intent through AI of past models that you've worked on, and being able to repair these kinds of sketches or try to predict what your model will look like through that. So this is kind of the feature that we're looking at in here. The next one will be focusing on NC machining. So The application we've had some developments on recently is NC Shop Floor Programmer, so which is included in all versions of 3D Experience SolidWorks. And with that, one of the past enhancements we had was the using AI to generate our toolpaths, or automatic toolpaths based on the model we had. Now what we are aiming to do in 2026 is take that one step further and really automate that entire process with AI, being able to have that design companion, our virtual companion Aura, basically assisting us, and really it being more of a prompt-based design setup to do our setup of our machine for NC machining, and then generate our G code behind that. So we can see a little preview of that in this little video. So really our goal is to really automate this as much as we can. So I'm very excited about this feature. And another one we have here, this is again on the platform, we're able to bring different parts of let's say an assembly of our product into our environment. And what we can do is we can ask Aura again to assemble it. We're able to just have the parts here, and this will save us that time of having to reassemble all that assembly, making those constraints, etc. So we ask, can you generate an assembly from these parts? And then what Aura will do will be scanning the different faces of those parts to see where those mechanical connections should be fitting, and then assemble it live. And then what you're going to be able to do is move it. You're going to be able to play with it like you would be in SolidWorks with those different constraints that are in place. So here we'll have a little preview of that, moving it left and right and sliding that handle back and forth. So this is a pretty neat feature that I think is going to be coming up soon about that. Yep. And another one I wanted to present, this is about renders. So in the past, if you wanted to do a render for a SolidWorks part, your best bet would be going through SolidWorks Visualize, for example, to set up your scene, your lights, your environment, your animations, if you had any, all of that kind of stuff. I mentioned animations, but I don't know if this new feature will do that yet, but that'll be something cool to look forward to, perhaps, especially with all the advancements we've been seeing regarding video generation with AI. But this one is more so regarding having the possibility to quickly generate a render for your SolidWorks model with AI. So this was a video that was shown a year ago. I can say that the advancements I've seen on this function have drastically improved since then. But here we get a little bit of some previews of what it would look like. Again, this is probably not for some marketing content, but if you want to get a nice pre-visualization of your model with some material, some background environment, such things, then this can be a nice tool to have to exploit and get those renders quickly without having to go through and spend an hour setting up something that would look even somewhat similar and visualized, although maybe would look better than what is shown in this video right now. But yeah, this is a feature I definitely cannot wait to get my hands on to generate those renders very quickly. So yeah, this is a very cool feature. And I had one more poll that we have for you. So if I pull up my interactions, the question is, which feature would be the most useful for you? So we've seen automatic drawing creation, automatic placement of fasteners, machine learning-based FEA models, the stack-generated dimensions, the NC machining by command, the improved renders with AI, and so it says in SolidWorks Visualize, but it's actually in SolidWorks, and the redesign of the manufacturing process. So among all of these we've seen, let's see what your favorite is.
Maybe to let the time people to answer, what is yours, Jacob? What's the feature you find the most useful as far?
So far right now, I think my favorite one is the automatic drawing creation, being able to automatically generate those. It saves so much time. It's really a huge time saver, and I can't wait to see what we'll do with it in the following year and in the future as well to really advance that. But the one I'm the most excited for, I think it's got to be this render thing. I want to see how far we can take this. I mean, the visualize process is always something that for a lot of engineers and designers at small companies as well, it can be not a time waster, but it can take up a lot of time to have to work with these different tools. So being able to just automatically generate those, and if they turn out to be very nice, then why not? I mean, I'm all for that.
And I think people agree with you, because we can see that automatic drawing creation has been at the top. So yeah, automatic placement of fasteners, the thing that you showed, the stack generated dimension. I really want to see this tag thing generated dimension from X Design, because if it's really working well as we see in the video, it can be really a huge groundbreaking solution.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Jacob, for all these things, all those really interesting things, and it's going to give me the best transition, because I'm going to be able to talk a little bit about Ohmycad. And so I'm just going to answer a question. At the same moment, Ludovic asked me, is Aura paid? I think it was in French. Do we need to pay to get to have Aura? And the great news is that Aura is already included with no additional costs into SolidWorks 2026. To talk a little bit about us, so I work for Ohmycad. We are a new generation Dassault Systèmes partner. We have been founded 5 years ago. And the idea is that we wanted to provide a new approach on the market, really focusing on startup, small and medium businesses, and freelancers. I think we already have some customer basically watching the webinar. So for the customer that are watching us, you can already use all of the features that we have been watching and showing you with Jacob. The great thing is also that you are always going to work on your new generation. It's going to be always up to date. And we always try to work and to be agile with you to find the best fitted solution, both financially and technically. We are already working with more than 1,000 startup and small and medium businesses across Europe. We have a lot of great reviews, a lot of things, a lot of customers that we are working on a daily basis. But I think I'm not the best people to talk about us. I think the customer are going to say it better.
Being a startup company, your initial funds to set up are lower. So after researching, I came across Ohmycad and introduced myself to them. And I came across the startup scheme. The startup scheme offered me a reduced rate over a number of years, which was very attractive. So a part of that was the 3D experience program, the traceability of design, the quick access of tools. You have an open web portal where everything can be accessed straight away. You don't have to worry about, your hard drive on your computer failing because it's all well backed up, protected. Also, you have the support from the support team. That's invaluable as well as a startup, knowing you've got someone to ask should you need it. When I've interacted with Ohmycad, I've used them numerous times for support and additional training. As CAD providers, I've definitely found Ohmycad advantageous to have. They're proactive, they are keen to support.
And that was Ludovic from DLV Technology. So here indeed, thanks to the Jacob presentation, I just want to introduce for you, we also have a few offers from the end of the year. So basically, if you're like Ludovic and you are a startup that has been created 5 years ago, you can know that we co-created with Dassault Systèmes and Solidworks the startup program that is going to allow you to have Solidworks for really beneficial pricing, and the first year is going to be free. If you are already a Solidworks customer, but you are working on an old license, basically you have a 2020 and you were wondering each time, is it the time for me to upgrade? We also have a few offers about that, and you can have up to 50% discount on all the licenses. And at least to end on a good note, if you are hesitating, if you are saying to yourself, okay, Onshape was good, Fusion is good, I'm still hesitating if I should go on SolidWorks, do I need to go on the new SolidWorks? We also have a great offer that is going to be the discovery offer with a flat rate of 250 euros a month during 3 months. Is going to allow you to test this new SolidWorks with one of our people in our team that is going to support you, to advise you, and to guide you on those new tools. So of course, feel free to reach out to us. We can help you, guide you, and make your product become a reality. I'm just going to end on a good note. So regarding all the features that we introduced to you, I was just wondering if you have any question about that. Now is the time. I see that we have a lot of question already at the moment. So I'm just going to highlight the question from Ludovic. Is Aura paid? So Aura is it expensive or costly? No, it's already included in your SolidWorks. It's already built in your desktop SolidWorks. So you do not need to go on the web to use Aura or any AI tool. Anything can be used directly from your SolidWorks.
See, another question we had, is Aura able to repair surface knitting? So currently, no, to put it simply, but this is the goal. This is obviously what we want to do with Aura, to go from not just a companion, a virtual companion, but more so of a maestro. You can put like an orchestrator, like someone who guides the process and everything, and to ask it in a prompt-based manner to help you with the design process, whether that be showing you how to or telling you how to do certain operations that are more complex in SolidWorks, or to actually do it in the future. So I think this is clearly our intent to what we want to do with Aura in the coming years, to be able to do certain operations that we may not master ourselves manually, and to perform them on the model. So yeah, I think this is something that we can expect going forward in the future to see some development towards. But yeah, very good question.
Thank you, Denis. I also have a question from Jeremy, I guess in French. It can be still collected without training the AI though. I guess it was about intellectual property. I just want to be really thoughtful about that. So no, it cannot be collected. It means that Dassault Systèmes and SolidWorks are not going to use in any kind of way your product and your intellectual property. It's something that is very important for Dassault Systèmes and SolidWorks. They have highlighted this fact in the last 2 years during the presentation that we had. So you can be really safe and ensure that none of this is going to be used on our side, on Dassault Systèmes side. Sure, Denis. Where is Aura prompt access in SolidWorks Design connected up? Where is Aura prompt access in SolidWorks Design connected 2026?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Jacob, let you answer this one.
Yeah, so if you're aware, if you have the 3D experience, you can click on the right-hand side, you have the 3D experience logo. And then in the compass that comes up in the panel, you'll have to navigate to the application 3D Swim, and it will be within that. So it's within the 3D Swim application that's in the panel that you'll have Aura, where you can ask it questions and create different conversations with it. So yeah, through that.
And the good thing is also that either you are an Ohmycad customer or not, you can still book a free audit below. You are going to see the little button above. The idea is to have 30 minutes review for free, just to take the control of your computer remotely, to help you, to guide you, and to show you those new features, or at least to make a quick audit about your situation and what can be done to improve your process. So feel free to book the audit. You also have my email that we are going to put in the chat if you have any question or any concern. But we are at your full disposal. So yeah, and Jeremy, just for you to know, there is also going to be a prompt library that we are going to deploy in the next few months. So you already have pre-made questions that you can ask to Aura that are going to be formatted. And I guess we already answered to everything. Maybe Matt, we already answered it. Do you have any other question, or everything was quite clear on your side? I hope it was clear. Maybe it was too clear. Okay, so if we do not have any more questions, I really want to thank you for being there with us today. It was the first time we're using this tool, this format of webinar. We are always keen to have your feedback. We don't know if it was interesting, if it was boring, if you just took your coffee and sleep in front of the presentation. To see all of the new content about AI and everything, you can still connect directly to our YouTube channel, to our LinkedIn, on Ohmycad, on Instagram. Follow us, click. We're going to put content every day about that. So thanks to all of you, and I hope to see you soon for the next webinar, if it was great. Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you all. Thank you, Victor.
See you.
Care is your guarantee of a successful start and the optimal use of your SolidWorks and 3D Experience tools. From day one, a dedicated engineer supports you through regular check-ins, turning your tools into a true performance driver. Boost productivity. Your engineer tailors SolidWorks and 3D Experience to your business and processes. Save time. They can remotely take control of your system to unblock your designs whenever needed. Grow your skills. Access our knowledge base, follow e-learning modules, and prepare for SolidWorks expert certifications. Increase performance. Get personalized advice on the most relevant add-on modules for your needs, and test them free for 1 month. With the Ohmycad service, you get the best out of your software and your money, and you're never left on your own with SolidWorks and 3D Experience. Focus on growth and innovation. We'll take care of the rest. Already trusted by over 2,000 users, with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 from more than 300 Google reviews. Join us now. Turn your investment into true value.
What we did is we draw up, we design the whole system within the SolidWorks software. What we do is we then send this into different kind of components, break it down, and we send to 3D printers to basically produce this thing. So as you can see, this one is actually quite, it's interactive. It has a lot of components inside it, and it helps us to basically validate what we're thinking within our design process and to constantly improve the user experience of our customer.